Good evening, traders. Locks here with another video. And tonight I'm going to show you the solo confirmation super complex backtest. This backtest is used to test a GKD confirmation indicator in the presence of volatility filtering, baseline filtering, and then the addition of a continuation indicator that will allow us to show continuation signals in the backtest results. This is a very complex backtest. That's why it's called super complex. So instead of it just being the normal long and short signals, there are about 8 different types of longs and shorts that you can use in this backtest. I'll show you those right now. There's a standard entry. There's a one candle rule standard entry. There's a baseline entry, one candle rule baseline entry, volatility volume entry, one candle rule volume and volatility entry, pullback entry, and continuation entries. All of these different types of signals have their own respective rules, sets of rules, as you can see right here, and you can turn those rules on or off. And so, different from the previous multi-ticker backtests, is this backtest does not allow you to turn off or on the volatility or the baseline, or to turn off the Goldilocks zones for the entire indicator. You have to go into each one of these settings and turn those on or off. As you can see here, this backtest is a multi-ticker backtest. So we will be importing various tickers and then seeing what those results turn out to be in the end. So let's dive in and do that. All I've done here, and I'll reset this to default so you can see it, and it is already a default, but just to prove the point here. Actually, is it going to let me do this? Hold up. Yeah, there we go. Reset settings. So now it's a default. All right. For this one, we're going to use Fisher Transform. All right, GKD Fisher Transform right there. Very easy. Then we have GKD Topic Curve, GKD-V Hurst, and then GKD-B Baseline, the multi-ticker baseline. All right, so we have all our indicators on the screen. I'm going to line these up the right way. For this demonstration, actually, you know what? We're going to switch this up. For this demonstration, I'm going to use the Topic Curve for confirmation 1, Hurst for volume and volatility, the Fisher Transform for the continuation indicator, and then we have the standard baseline indicator. This one is enabled for multi-tickers, and then we have, obviously, the backtest. The tickers we're going to use today are just these right here. We have about 92 people using them. Cool. Or at least viewed them. So the first thing you want to do with this is let's just import everything ticker-wise, and then we'll go back through and connect everything up. So we'll start from the bottom here. There's the tickers. Change that to multi-ticker. Just paste them in there. There's 10 tickers there. Paste them in there. 10 tickers there. Paste them in there. And notice how I'm changing this setting to multi-ticker, right? Remember that. So those are all set up. The baseline. You don't have to do any drop-down box stuff here. I'm going to change this to special. You don't have to. I'm just going to do it for this demonstration. Hit OK. And there we have the baseline showing up. And then we're going to paste them here and then connect everything up. That's the baseline. Right here at the very bottom, you can't see it says multi-ticker backtest for the volume and volatility. Confirmation indicator. Remember we said, what do we say? Topic curve. Right here, input into new GKD-BT Multi-Ticker Backtest. And then the continuation indicator, Fisher Transform, right? Input into new GKD-BT Multi-Ticker Backtest. Very simple. We're going to keep everything the same otherwise, and let's see it load. There we go. We have our backtest, right? You'll notice that this is very strict. If you remember from previous video where we did the solo confirmation complex, there were many more trades, and there was a lot greater hit rate than what you're seeing right here. And that's because with a full, or this is a partial full GKD system, it's a super complex, there are a lot more different types of filters going into making these signals, all right? So this is going to require a lot of work on your end to make this work and to show better results than you would a solo confirmation complex, that has a lot of trades and a lot of hit rate. Okay, the idea with a system like this versus a solo confirmation complex is this system should end up being more reliable in terms of hit rate across the board. Okay, in terms of hit rate and profit factor. So that's what you'd be looking for, and that's why you would choose something that's more complex than just a solo confirmation complex. That's why you'd go into a super complex or a full GKD system. Now, a full GKD system, the only addition that we would do here is we would add another indicator. It's basically, well, it actually is another confirmation indicator that would then serve as a confirmation filter. So it would be the baseline, the confirmation 2 filter, and then also the volatility filter. And then the continuation indicator still spits out the continuation signals, with the main core GKD confirmation 1 indicator being the core signal for the entire system. All right. So in this system, all of the signals are coming from Koppik curve, except for some continuation signals that come from Fisher transform. All right. Let's go through some of the settings here, and we'll show you what that looks like here. If I turn off everything, and there's no guarantee that there will be any continuations whatsoever, but let's say we turn off everything there. Do we have any continuations that pop up? Still loading. And it's got an error. Oh, it's a timeout. That's fine. And that's going to pop up every once in a while, but you should be able to fix it by flipping through tickers and back on the screen. There's a lot of processing power that's going into this sucker. So let's wait for it to load. Assuming it's going to load. And then right here, as you can see, all we're showing are some of these continuations, right? Very few trades here. All right, let's go through some of the other ones. Let's go through show standard entries. Nice. What about one candle rule standard entries? How do those look? Nice. Very few though, right? Some of these aren't so great. 0% hit rate. Some of them are 100% hit rate. Show baseline entries. Very few, right? Now, granted, we have all these rules set up of all the filtering. If I turn some of those off, we'd get more signals. And some of the stuff we turn off right here is the price inside Goldilocks zone minimum, and then price inside Goldilocks maximum. Right? So you see those. So you're seeing these trades show up here, and that's pretty cool to see. Look at this, the volatility signals. That's pretty nifty. This is a signal that is not available in the NNFX ecosystem, but it is here. And the volatility signals there, they both put out pretty good numbers. If we select them both, we can see how do the volatility signals work compared to everything else. See that? Nice hit rates across the board. Now, obviously, we don't have many closed trades there, but still, I don't know if we'll get pullbacks here. I'm thinking we don't. Yeah, very few. Pullbacks happen very rarely, and the ones that do, you have to really fine tune your system and come up with a better, combination of continuation indicator and confirmation indicator with volatility with baseline in order to really ramp the sucker up. I've just picked these at random, so this isn't. No, we already did continuation, so let's just select everything again. Well, you know what? We're on 12 hour too, so that's probably why it's taking a little bit more time for this to load. We'll go back onto the daily charts. Yeah, there's even less trades. That's how this works, right? We got a lot of filtering. Let's turn off some of this other filtering here. And we'll turn off that. And we're just turning off the Goldilocks zone, right? Very simple. Very simple. And that noise you hear in the background is just the ice maker going. So don't Don't freak out about that. See how a lot more trades popped up? It's because we relaxed the Goldilocks filter, right? If we put the Goldilocks filter back on what it would be under normal circumstances, oops, wrong one. We would turn on just the maximum and keep the minimum off. And this is the default setting with all NNFX systems. This one, obviously, I've modified it a lot and added more complexity so you can toy around with everything and see how it works. So inside, 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 inside. Minimum, yes, minimum. We'll nuke that one. And then we've got everything else selected. And there you have it. Results aren't much better, but that's fine. Again, that's where you'll have to tune up this test and see what actually works for you. Other things that we'll look at here, these deal with obviously when a signal happens before the baseline and the baseline happens, it'll take a signal still. If we go through and check the volatility here, we can go through and check different types to see how that plays out across all tickers. That might be handy for you. But generally speaking, for this type of system, you keep it on ATR because it tends to have the best backtest among all the different volatility types, given what we're doing here. So anyways, that is the solo confirmation super complex backtest. Remember that when you're setting these up, you should only use one type of ticker in each full 10 backtest right here. So right here, I'm just using cryptocurrency and I'm using a backdrop of BTC USDT. I'm doing that because this thing right here has to look over many candles. If I go to a ticker that only has 100 candles on the daily, then all of these other candles are going to be nuked from orbit. They're not going to show up in the backtest at all because this thing right here, this backtest itself is looking backwards on many bars. So it has to capture the most bars possible to then capture the data for these bars right or these tickers right here to then use inside of here. All right. So for cryptocurrency, you'll want to use Bitcoin. For Forex, you'll want to use something like Euro USD. For stocks, you'll use something, similar, etc. If I were to use this right here, these on Euro USD, then you're going to be skipping signals because the amount of days on Euro USD tradable are less than what they are on Bitcoin, right? Watch these, what happens here. You have 3 here, 66 here. Let's go to Ethereum. And you'll see that it stays the same. It's going to load 366. Now let's go to Euro and watch what happens. If it stays the same, I'll be surprised, but it shouldn't. Well, actually, it did stay the same in this instance. But I think these changed. See, we got 2 greens and a red. Let's see if we can get it to change. Yeah, see, it changed. And we have a green here, red, green. Go to Ethereum. Green, green, red, red. So you see when you go to Euro, totally different. That's because there's a different amount of bars in the history and it's calculating differently. So use only one type of ticker here, Forex, cryptocurrency, stocks, and then make sure that the backdrop one that you have this on is something that relates to this and has a lot of bars. So anyway, that's a wrap for now. This has already been published. If you have any questions and you're part of the VIP group, send me a message and I will answer those when I see them. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. I'll talk to you later.